Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Woman to Woman, of course, on your favorite TV station, Independent Television. And I am Joy Chirendu Okmani. Today we are looking at a very interesting topic, which is financial independence, of course, especially for a woman. And I have with me a very beautiful, intelligent woman who is joining us on the program, Bavitra, who is none other than Mogyade. Hello.
Um,
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss Joy. Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course, of course. Okay, so let's just dive in real quick on what is financial independence. It means having resources and skills to support oneself without relying on others. And of course, as a woman, it is important to know this. Once you know this, you definitely get through life. So, how would you define financial independence? What does that mean to you?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, financial independence means different things to different people.
Mm,
But for myself, for example, I've defined financial independence as being able to secure your finances, being able to have that confidence as a woman. A lot of women today don't really have that financial independence. So if we're saying financial independence in the layman way, we'll just say financial independence is a way or a method for a woman to be able to stand for herself and being able to get what she wants to get without depending on anybody. Thank you.
that's how you define it. Okay, that's a very beautiful definition of what it is because people don't know why a woman should actually be independent, financially, especially. So, why should we be financially independent? Why is it so important for a woman to be financially independent?
Okay, thank you for this question. I'm going to answer personally. Is that
Okay.
fine? Thank you. I'm going to answer as if you're asking me the question, not
Yes.
just for the general.
All right.
This is because not this is because not everyone wants to be financially independent. Some
Hmm.
people are very okay, they are comfortable with where they are. Some people
Okay.
are also very okay, comfortable with their spouses' wealth and
Being
businesses. So it all
mhm,
depends on what you want for yourself as
for
an
yourself.
individual. Yes, so we can't really say a woman must be, but generally we could say yes, a woman should be able to have some.
Network issue there. I believe she's going to say it gives you the confidence to actually stand out wherever you are. Probably what that's trying to say.
Wherever I am now, we're able to communicate. If I don't have
Okay.
my money, I won't be able to get. I have to start calling, maybe
Yeah.
calling my spouse, calling my family, calling a lot of things. So it just gives you a confidence on
The
your own.
confidence. And this generation, I don't think they actually value the importance of actually having your own money. Financial independence for me, I believe, is more than just having money in the bank, just to say, okay, I have these millions or I have these thousands. I believe it's more than just that because as a woman, it's very important to have your money. What if one day where you're getting your money from or who you're being dependent on, just stops giving you the money? And I don't know why this generation actually don't really see that as a thing to actually be independent financially. For me, I think it should be. But you mentioned saying that not everybody actually wants that. And I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it's advisable that as a woman, what if the resources, where you're getting your resources from, one day dries up? You know, is it everything you're going to ask your spouse for? Like even as I'm old as I am like this, my dad would tell me, have something doing for yourself. Don't be so dependent on your spouse. What if one day he needs the assistance? Do you get where I'm coming from? So I
Yes, I
say
do.
it is 99% very important for everyone to at least have that backup, have that thing with you, have
True.
that understand what I'm trying to say, have that confidence. Okay, I have this money. Whatever wants to happen, I can still stand on my own. Because many
True.
many of my generation, or my age mates, my peer groups rather, they are more like, what if in their relationship, most of them are actually in relationships whereby it's their boyfriend or it's their man who is sponsoring them. Everything is all about my man, my
It's
man.
not bad.
From their crown of their head to the sole of their feet, everything
It's
is
not
their
bad.
man. Which exactly, it's not bad. It's a thing of pride. It is good. But most of them, they not break up. The boy will now say, give me back the hair I got you. Give me back this, give me back that. And she's probably left stranded. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So let's move down to our next question since at least we've established the fact that having your own money is actually very important. So can you share
Yeah.
some strategies that have actually helped you become more financial independent on your own? Because knowing you
Okay.
who is a guidance counselor, entrepreneur, of course, yes, you have your husband, but I believe you do have your own resources at hand. Yes?
Thank you very much for this question. Just like we're chatting, you said something. Some people actually have or just want to depend on their boyfriends, parents, and the rest. It's not bad. Trust me, I'm not here to
Hmm.
say this is bad, this is good. It all depends on what you want and what
As a
works for
person.
you. Okay, so some strategies that I've used personally. The first strategy to that would help anybody is to ask yourself, what do you want for yourself? If you don't know what you want for yourself, you can't actually know the strategies to use. You can't know, okay, let me use the university system. You can't know, okay, which of those questionnaire method am I going to use? So you have to know your strengths, your weaknesses before you're able to know the strategy to use. Most times I tell people the first thing is to ask yourself, what do you want?
What do you
What
want?
are your goals for life? When you do that, there are lots of podcast stations, there are lots of TV stations. For example, what you do, you try to reach out to women. There are lots of TV stations. You could start from there. Then, when you start from there, you get a book, you write it. You can see me with my laptop, you write a book. Always have time to write.
To
Write a
jotting
book. Then there
down.
are big. You don't need to read, like take a book and start reading. You could just put it on your e-learning. It reads for you. You put your AirPod and you're reading. So when you have established these facts, then we can now start talking about how to budget,
How
how
to
to
budget.
strategize, how to plan, how to save for maybe between 3 to 6 months, how to manage your expenses. But you must be able to know these things first before we talk about that. So the first strategy I'm going to tell anyone is to ask yourself, what do you
What do
want
you
for
want?
yourself? Good. If you tell yourself the truth and be true to yourself, when you tell yourself the truth, then we have gotten the best strategy. Thank you very much.
Okay, okay, at least you heard it from us. So the first thing first is know what you want, right? Before we can go in down
Yes,
to budgeting, planning, saving, and all that. Yes, but
exactly.
most women who are, for example, most women, they are very financial dependent, or they're independent because they don't really depend on anybody. They don't have anybody who's doing whatever for them. But the society may see them differently, don't you think so? Because from our normal cultural norms and everything, a woman should be, of course, she's she's submissive to the husband. We all know that. But regardless, society may see a woman who is financially dependent on herself, nobody else. She's on her own. She's everything. Everything is on herself. Why does society have to see them differently? Because I've seen someone who, a lady actually, a friend of mine, she has her own business. She has everything going on well for her. She doesn't really need anybody to, buy her something or, take care of her needs, her basic needs as a woman and all. And because of that, she's still quite single. Because men will be like, oh, she can take care of herself. Oh, she doesn't need me. She doesn't need me. She will not ask me to buy her wig. She will not ask me to buy her a phone and all that. Do you understand?
Are you
So,
serious?
yes, actually.
When
So,
I did, they should come and buy us.
oh goodness. She's actually in that position right now because she's well to do on her own. She has her own business. She has a car. She's living well. But because of that, men are actually now running from her. So why does society have to see women who are actually now independent, see them as very like a threat or I'm not rich this woman.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, when you say why do society see women that are financially stable? The truth of the matter, you cannot expect everybody to see you in one way. That's why it's called society. Everybody has how they view things. Growing up, my dad will always tell us something that you don't have to be the best. You don't have to come out first position in the class, but make sure you are the best to leave that level you are to be able to get to another level. Because at the end of the day, people would always see things differently. I remember when we were in primary school, there are some guys then, I don't want to mention names.
Okay.
Anytime he becomes second or third, he's shaking, he's scared. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
He's shaking, and I'm like, second and third. Me, I came fifth, sixth. I'm very happy that
Like
I'm above average because I'm going back home to meet my dad, and my dad is telling me, my daughter, you've
you
done
did
well.
well.
Next year, you could try better. And I'm seeing someone coming out second. and the person is already shaking. That is just society. That's that's just society, different families. So that's how it is. Now imagine someone like we that grew up with that perspective that okay, don't kill yourself. You don't have to be the first
No.
position. But make sure you don't have to be the best. But make sure you are good enough to be able to lead that position to the next position. So personally, that's how I grew up. Now, how do you expect another person growing up in a family that you must come first, you must be wealthy, you must do
Hmm.
this? It's already different society, different mentality. I don't know
Different
if you get that.
norms. Hmm.
Thank you. So now back to your question. I just gave an example so you get where I'm coming from.
Okay.
People would always see you differently. That is why the first thing I always tell people, know yourself, know your strength. For example, I know myself, I know my strength, I know what I could do easily. I have two sisters. One could read from 7 o'clock to 7. I
Hmm.
can't do that.
I think when
Another
you
one
list
could be
together.
studying maths. Yes, and we are the same blood. Another one could be studying maths, doing lots of things. Me, on the other hand, I prefer to study my book, little, read my novel, and speak. I just prefer to speak. Now, we are all different. So society will look at you differently. Some of them is
Differently.
jealousy. They are
Hmm.
jealous that, oh, I can't get to where this woman is. For example, people will say, at 35, you have a PhD and you don't have a marriage, you don't have a
You're not
marriage.
married yet.
Excuse me, don't let anybody, there's a shoe for everybody. Don't put yourself under pressure. Whoever fits into your shoe will come for you. Just take it one step at a time. I
Hmm.
believe in women empowerment because at the end of the day, I always tell myself something. I don't want 20 years down the lane, 25 years down the lane.
Okay.
I would be angry with myself and tell myself I was just giving birth to children
Hmm.
and being a housewife. That's not what I want for myself. So it all starts from yourself. When you understand what you want, you'll be able to take anything that comes with it. Some people are jealous. Some of them is just the stigma of failure, failed.
Hmm.
Maybe they came from a background
A
that
faith
the women
background.
are not into anything. They are just housewife, or I don't want to say housewife because
Most
housewife is
people
a
actually
whole lot.
want to be full-time housewife. Most actually want it.
Even
I think most
housewife,
of them, their husbands could even pay them for being
trust
full-time
me,
housewife.
even housewife is a full. Is a his own
It's a
housewife is
full-time
not easy.
job.
Oh. My God, I've stayed at home for 2 days. I was crying. I was like, no, I need to go back to the office because you literally see all the dirties in the house. So that's why
Sure.
I say I don't want to say housewife. It all depends on what you want, but you
What you
must be able to
want.
understand the fact that some people are jealous, some people are envious. They can't get to where you are. Then back to the second question, when you talk about relationships, some guys we see them and say
Yeah, and
they
just
don't. It
run
all depends
away.
on the kind of guy. I follow this woman a lot, Professor Dr. Reverend Ibukun Awochika
Okay.
on podcast, and she said something. She said when she was getting married, she didn't just marry for today. She married for her future. She knew that she was an accountant who literally never studied accounting, who literally did not really work as an accountant, but she wanted to progress. She wanted to have a business. And she got married to her husband, who also was an engineer, who wants to have business. So
Hmm.
I don't think you should just say, okay, I just want to get married. While
And
you're
that should
thinking of
stop
getting
here.
married,
Hmm.
yes, what do you want for yourself? Do you want to be a professor at 36? Do you want to be a doctor, a consultant at 40? Ask yourself and be true to yourself. Then
What do you
when you
want?
are true to yourself, you'll be able to follow that
To
line and know
actually
the kind
line
of
up,
people.
yes.
You can't expect you, for example, who is always on station to
Yes.
to move with someone who will tell you come home and sit down. It can't
Nah,
gel. It
nah,
can't
I'm not
it
even
won't
agree.
do. So just be true to yourself. If you're true to yourself, I think everything would you just
Everything will be
naturally
fine.
suit it.
Being true
It's
to
so it's
yourself, knowing who you are, understanding what you want for yourself. Like you
yes,
mentioned
and everything
earlier,
will just fall
if
in place.
everything will fall into place. Even though you're getting married or you're not married, regardless, that doesn't stop you from having your own thing doing, having your own side hustle whatsoever. So how would you tell these younger generations who don't really understand that at least as a woman, still have your own something at the back of yourself, still have something doing for yourself? How would you actually advise them on what to do? What kind of things they can do to improve on themselves? As somebody who actually empowers women, how would you talk to the generation, to my generation, to the younger ones?
Thank you so much. Honestly, speaking to the younger generations or speaking to women, it's
As a
really
woman.
not easy because a lot of people would actually think like, what is she saying? She has it all worked out. No, I don't have it all worked out. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still learning. I'll give you an example. I'm married, for example. I
Okay.
literally have to go to work. I am a student. There were times
Mm.
in the office where I know my boss was not really happy with me because I was not giving in all my
What he
best.
wanted.
And that's not because I couldn't give in all my best. Maybe I had some lots of family challenge and the rest. So times, what I'm trying to say is times will happen. Seasons in your life will happen. But be true to yourself. A lot of people like to deceive people, like to deceive people apparently. Be
Mm.
true to yourself. When you're true to yourself, people could actually know where to help you and how to help you that would not affect them and wouldn't affect you.
Affect you.
Now, for the younger generations, a lot of us want everything. It's not their fault. So things are
Mm.
expensive. A bag of rice now is 110,000.
It's
So
a
you don't
lot.
expect anybody not to move with anybody that is ready to sponsor their bills.
Mm.
Let's be sincere. Let's talk in a normal way
Mm-hmm.
as if we are not on TV now.
Okay.
But then be true to yourself. What do you want? Who is your role model?
Mm.
Where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years' time? Where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years' time? Do you want to be totally dependent on your family?
Mm.
Ask yourself something that works for me. What if the tap that is giving me water turns off one
Just
day? What
dries off.
happens? So ask yourself some questions and be true to yourself with the answers. Have a role model. If it's in a woman, if you are married, have a role model that you admire, maybe
Mm-hmm.
how
They
they
can
have been
actually
able to
help you
stay
line
long
up the
in
path you're
marriage.
going through.
Yes, then if you don't want to settle down anytime soon, no problem. Don't pressurize yourself.
Mm.
Do you want to be like Miss Joy on national TV tomorrow? Once you've done that, no, as funny as it is, a lot of people admire you. You wouldn't know.
Mm.
So once you've asked yourself those questions, then be able to say, my friends will tell you, as small as 500 naira,
Save it.
I would always save from it. It is so bad that any money I have now would always remove something. Apart
And
from,
keep.
okay, yes, maybe you've been paid for your work, your public speaking, or whatsoever, your salary, you're removing your tithe. I would always save. So
Mm.
learn to save from the little you have. Don't say,
Yeah.
this money I have, I must use everything.
Mm.
Then do not
Different plan.
live as if you can afford everything. I
Fake
love
life.
to say be true to yourself.
Mm.
If you know you cannot afford a particular brand of hair or a particular brand of bag,
You can live
do
without
what
it.
you can do. You might not be able to live without it actually, but you could be able to go for the affordable one.
Okay.
Make it happy, look good in your own way. Because trust me, you still need to look good to be able to connect to people.
True.
Then be able to connect to people. There are places they are doing women empowerment programs. You attend. There are places they are doing maybe health talk, health. Okay, they are like,
You
oh, we have
attend.
medical outreach. Engage with people. Don't feel intimidated because yes, you might feel intimidated at times, but relax. Engage with people that are going your path. That's why I said you must be true to yourself first. Know what you want. If, for example, I want to be a doctor, you don't expect me to always mingle with bankers
True.
because they are going to be talking figures. I'm going to be
Figures
talking anatomy. So once you know all those things, every other thing will fall in
fall
place
in
as a
place.
younger generation. And don't pressurize yourself.
At all. The
The country
pressure
is
of
tough
the
already.
it's a lot.
The country is tough already. Don't pressurize yourself. Take it one
Mm.
step at a time. Tell yourself I'm a work in progress.
Mm.
Just like me, I'm also a work in progress. So
We all
take it
are.
one step at a time and everything will fall in place.
Everything fall into place. Thank you very much. I hope you've all heard, you've
Thank
all
you.
listened, you've actually learned something from today. First things first, know yourself, find your path, find what you need to do to actually sustain yourself. Of course, as a woman, learn something, pick up a side hustle, be an entrepreneur. There are many things that your gender, our gender, can actually do to still earn a living. Yes, you don't always have to be dependent on someone, but still at times, have your own pocket money for yourself. You may never know where you find yourself. It's always advisable when you're going out, have your own money. What if the person you went out to now leaves you stranded? Those kind of matters. Everything's always have to be careful. So I do hope you enjoyed this episode of Woman to Woman. Next week, a fresh episode is going to come your way on your favorite TV station. I remain yours sincerely, Joy Chirendu Akmani. Good evening.